Well, hello there. Hello there, everybody. How are all you wonderful friends and people doing out there in YouTube land? I'm sorry, it has been a minute. It has been a hot minute since we've been able to be together on a live edition of The Bunker. Now, I do have some epic news coming, which I consider epic. I know that maybe I overblow things, but this is pretty cool what I've got to tell you. And then I do have a stack of brilliant ideas I had while I was drinking bourbon. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, this is my logbook that I'm keeping of just an extra logbook for 2024 on all the lovely Sony, or actually any CRTs that I've been restoring. I've got them logged in this book. And since it's been a while, I can go through and show you all what I've been up to, what's been going on. I'll tell you a little bit too, because there's a reason I haven't been able to come to a show. And anyway, if you could, please do one thing for me, and that is, of course, hit the like button. It's been so long, I have no idea how many people are going to be able to just show up out of the blue like this. I do have Cole right here with me. I do see a lot of people in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for showing up who's already here. Belmont, thank you for coming early. Mark, welcome back. Rob Cat, see you there. Mumfrel, Jumbo Jones, Roll Pats, welcome back. Jake is way black, welcome back. Ronnie S, you too. Good to see all you guys. Jumbo Jones. And Seasoned Salt. I think I got everybody there. Anyway, if I didn't get you, don't worry. We're going to go in, and as I said, we're going to go through. Yeah, Cole. He's running around here. Oh. Here, let me see. So, first off, check it out. I do have a dual camera here. Now, this is kind of the theme. Demo Kirby, what's up? Oh, there he goes. He just left. I literally just moved the camera to try to show him, and he gets up and walks out of the room. Typical, right? Anyway, there we go. Let's take it back to the face. Anyway, thank you all again. We're going to hang out here for a minute. Yeah, great to see everybody back. Welcome back. And let's get into it. Let's start with this really cool news. Maybe I could find a cool picture. Just in case, you know, it's been a little bit since my friend here has been, well, online. I mean, he's come and done some guest appearances here with us. He's been on some other shows with me. And none other than my good friend, which I have teased. I mean, what's the big deal, right? I have teased this happening. So, my buddy, your pal, my old and prior co-host, Mr. Louis Zezeran, aka Zez Retro. This man has traveled all the way from his home in Estonia in Europe to get a taste of the American life. And he will be stopping by none other than the Shenandoah Valley here in the state of Virginia to visit me. I'm going to pick him up from the airport tomorrow. And he's going to be hanging here through the whole weekend, through Monday. And anyway, if you don't know who Zez is, look at his channel. Go check him out. You know him, though. Come on. There we are. It's been a while since we've actually done, goodness, a podcast. But we did probably 60 podcasts. So we're going to be live together here. That's why I'm trying to make some alterations. I'm trying to make some alterations to the setup to get some spots in here. And that's why I got this new microphone, because I have a second microphone that the old microphone I used to have. So we'll have two spots here. And we're going to just hang out and we're going to do random stop-in live streams. I don't even know what time it will be. He's coming tomorrow. The first one could be tomorrow evening or something. And then throughout the weekend, I am going to take him to a basketball game, a college basketball game. It's actually a pretty big one. Should be about 8,000 people throwing down at the small college here. And so I'm excited to show him that. Race, welcome back. Yeah, it should be fun. Tuner Tom, thank you for coming. Yeah, so anyway, Zez is in America, and we're going to show him a good time. I plan to record some real fun stuff But the funny thing is I've done, I think, probably 70 podcasts with the man. And we've worked on compilations together with people. We also been working, I mean, we work behind the scenes. We talk all the time. You know, we're involved in different chats with other people that you guys know in the industry. And so I think it's going to be an epic good time. I mean, we're going to have some streams where I'm sure we're going to be probably consuming adult beverages and then spilling all the beans, dishing it up on all your favorite retro celebrities. So make sure you check it out. And we might just bust open some CRTs together. We've never done that, but that's what I mean. We are literally going to be getting together for the first time. Like, I've never met him in person, and this has just been awesome. I feel like a little kid. Got to try sneak it. Hey, you know, funny thing about this race is my seats, I have season tickets, and they're low, and they're right next to the student section. Like, this is how awesome my seats are. They're right next to the tunnel. There's Cole. My seats are right next to the tunnel of the basketball arena where the visiting team comes in and out of, and I like talk trash to the players as they walk in and out. And I mean, the last game they were like doing all these, I don't even know, man, what are all these cool, what does it mean when somebody does this to you on a basketball team up while you're in the stands? But that's what, like, the players were staring at me and doing that. And then the second half, my team just came and whipped their butts, beat them by like 30. I have no idea what that is. But anyway, my seats are right next to that. And I'm literally known as the loud guy in the section. And so, look, if you're crazy and you want to come to town, I don't know if you're like a wild person that wants to come to town and go to this game. It's going to be the JMU basketball game. It's actually going to be on television. Probably on like ESPN2 or something. But it's JMU against Akron, the University of Akron. And it's like two of these mid-major teams in basketball, both top ends of the division. I mean, our team has 20 wins and 3 losses. So that's how good the team we're going for is. So anyway, we're going to have fun. They do serve alcohol at this college games, which is not like every campus doesn't do that. I have been kicked out of a game before. I probably told, I don't know. I've already been like, here's the thing. You know, sometimes people joke about the Steve vortex, going back and telling funny stories. So I can only imagine the kind of stories we'll be drumming up together in our chats. So anyway, that's the big announcement. And while we're hanging, let's see if, oh, look. Yep, there he is down there. Look, he's eating the bed. What are you doing, boy? You eating that bed? There's little Cole right next to, look at him. We see you. What are you doing down there? Huh? All right. Excellent. Look at him down there. All right. Anyway, if you could, please make sure again that you leave a like. And if you want to have fun, you want to come to the game, I'm sure there's somebody that will be there to hang out. And I am definitely the loud guy at the game. So anyway. All right. So that's the announcement. Glad for everybody coming in. We've been going about 9 minutes. Please do so. Let's look at some repairs. I mean, right? Brilliant ideas I had while drinking bourbon. Let's see. So, in the month of January, I actually made it through 6 PVMs. Full restorations with repairs on every one of them. Gosh, 3 L5s. 2 14-inch, 1 20-inch. 2 M series PVMs. M4 and an M2, and then a 50 series PVM. And that was all last month. So, I'm wondering, guys, where would you like to start? So, let's talk first off, the one about the M4U I did a full episode on with the red light. So we don't need to rehash that one. So, oh, sorry, Cole. Snuck under my legs there. So what we're going to do is we'll go in here, and I think maybe let's start with one of these L series. I had an L series that was pretty wild. And this one showed up to me flat, not working, right? The owner said it popped, and once it popped, it did not work again. And what I'm talking about is a 20L5 that looks just like this one. This is a different one now. This one's a different one. It's up on the next to be restored. Coming up. So I'm gonna pull up that file. Let me make sure I get the correct one. And okay, 25. And we'll take a look at that repair, because like I said, it was incredible. It was throwing sparks at me. Let's see if we can find it. Yes, okay. And it was in bad shape. Very bad shape. Okay, so there you see it right there. Let me fix up, and we're gonna go over here to this picturesque screen, and I want to show you first off the service notes here. Dismiss, yes sirree, we're gonna relax and look at what we did. Let's see if I can zoom in here. I'm not exactly the best on probably navigating this. So I'm sorry. If you could see it, it's fine. It's fine. So this is the 20L5. First off, I got it. I tested the screen. It was not working. It overloads. So you turn it on, it just pops. Turns off. Just pops off. And then I checked the boards. The first thing I did was I recapped and repaired the G main board. And I'll show you pictures of that. And I replaced an IC on there, which is all part of the kit. And this kit is kind of a expansion off of Save on Pat's kit. Where I've just added more to it. And then I also did repairs to the C board, but the C board was ultimately the problem. It was the problem, so I had to actually replace it. I had to replace it with a different salvage C board, and I'll show you that. I'm going to go walk through pictures on all this, but this is a pretty normal restoration job after. So with this one, I had a little bit of troubleshooting because it was overloading, so it is a little bit more expensive because it wound up needing another board. So that added to the cost just on the parts end. And then you're going to see me, so I put it all back together after I got it done, tested it, pretty much got it working again. The cool thing is I should have a little video on here of what actually happened, but this is a section I include. I include this document with the restorations that I do for my clients here. So let me just read through these special notes for a second. This PVM was not functioning when it arrived. I started by opening the monitor and inspecting for visible damage. I did not find any physical damage. I did find evidence that your PVM was worked on at some point in the past. The yoke has been reseated completely on the tube. This generally indicates that the original tube went bad at some point on this monitor and it was professionally replaced. I removed the main G board and cleaned it. I installed a repair kit on it. The repair kit was 17 parts in total, 16 capacitors and 1 IC. After replacing these parts, I reflowed the solder on the transformers of the board and cleaned the board. While I was working on this board, I did find multiple modifications that were added after original manufacturing. I do not know when these were done, but I cleaned up everything and left them all in place. They may have been a needed repair for the monitor at some point in the past. I installed the G board and serviced the C board, which is the neck board. So that's the main board and the secondary neck board. I replaced R705, which is a fuse style resistor on the neck board. The resistor was blown. I reflowed the solder and serviced the whole board. Once I powered it on, the PVM immediately burned out the fresh resistor after I changed it. So I went through and I troubleshooted some more. Hey, Kenny. Went through and troubleshooted some more and found this spot where all the ICs on it were shorting. Every one of them. So I found a replacement C board and installed it and refurbished it, and it worked. The PVM worked after that. And so I restored the deflection boards also. There's 2 of those. Replaced all the capacitors, and the PVM is now functional. I tested the PVM, works fine. I performed the listed adjustments and cleaned the PVM. Please see the pictures, and that's what I get. There you go. Gosh, a 20-incher like this one. I think this one, I mean, the funny thing is this particular one was considered the bargain one. The 20L5 would have been, I believe, it about the $6,000 usually. But that was, you know, early 2000s money. You could maybe get them for $4 if you got like a lower co-star. You think? Yeah, 1K per inch. No, the ones that were really expensive are the BVMs. Like the a 20-inch BVM, those were, you're actually not too far off, Coaster. It was like those would get up over $20,000. So that's new. That's why they were only at studio houses, and why you had to go around and rent the equipment, and why it cost so much money to make movies and edit things back in this time period, pre-internet, pre all the advantages we have of software now and being able to upload things online. All right. So there's that. That's what the monitor looks like. This is the 20L5 monitor, an example of it. It's not the same one from this packet. This has been picked up already. All right. So there you go. You have an idea. That service note. I'm going to show you some pictures here. We're going to start with, this is actually not what we're going to start with. We're going to start with the side here. This is the beginning. We're going to go through this process. Well, the D24, I mean, here's the thing. All right, Kenny was asking if the D24 will ever come down in price. So I feel like they've peaked. Hey, Snuffer Stuffer, welcome. I feel like they've peaked, kind of. And it depends, obviously, where you're at, what the condition is. I've seen them go for really high, but I have more people now looking, actually sending me messages asking how much they think they could sell their 24-inch monitors for. So I don't really know what to tell them. I tell them between $5,000 to $7,000 generally, depending on. I mean, it's hard to find a buyer too. It's not that easy to find somebody who's really wanting to spend that much money anymore, right? There's not. I don't know. It's still hard to tell. I feel like if you're a serious buyer, I can help somebody find a good monitor. That's the thing. You just don't want to spend a bunch of money on one of these and have it, you know, be a turd. Because that's what can happen with these large multi-format, especially the flat ones that are the 24-inch ones. All right, back to the repair file. I'm going to burn through some pictures here for you. And we'll go closer on some of these if we need to. But this is the PVM when it came in. This is what it looked like. Now, I do not normally tell people this, but do you see this -4? That indicator, yeah, they have come down a little bit. They haven't like fallen off the map or anything. So it's not like they've come down. They went way up for a couple years and then they kind of plateaued. But it's like the real estate market. They're not making more of it. So, you know, the demand, as long as the demand is there, there's not generally enough supply to meet the demand on something like this. They don't remake them. Now, you always have other options. So there's that. But anyway, this is like the version. So there's 4 versions. This is the 4th version. So there's like little differences between each version. If you have a -1, 2, 3, or 4. 4th, I think, is the last version they made. So it's like, you know, 4 revisions to the same style of whatever device. They were doing that even in PVMs. Yeah, they were made well after 2007, actually. Well, you know, well, the CRTs would have been up until the L series, and I do think that you might have stopped seeing those in 2007. And the M series, they were still making M series for medical uses. No, actually, the L series did have a medical series. Sorry. So yeah, probably about then. Now they did make BVMs that were the A series BVMs up until like 2011 or 12, because I've got one that's pretty late. Awesome, McMuffin. Welcome in, everybody. Yeah, I mean, don't quote me exact on that. I'm really just playing with my memory here, which basically the reason I haven't been able to come to a show the last couple weeks, I got a bad cold a couple weeks ago. And then it went through and hit the rest of people in my family, unluckily for them. And so for the last couple weeks, I've just been dealing with that. Anyway, here's what I was talking about in my notes, where I said that it looked like someone had been in here before. You see, this wedge is a good indicator. See how we have two different types of epoxy here, okay? This black epoxy, that's standard. So I can tell here is that was removed. See how it was removed here, cut away there, and it was cut away from there. That's the wedge that holds, same thing up here, wedge that holds the yoke in the spot where the yoke needs to sit on a tube. So what it looked like to me was the tube was probably swapped out at some point professionally and then reinstalled. And then that person had to go in here and make all kinds of adjustments. They obviously had to redo the yoke, all the convergence rings when you do that. And then you have to add convergence strips. And you reseat everything. And then it's got this different glue. And that's just not the same glue they used in the factory. So that's an obvious sign. You see, here's what that looks like in the factory, right? Here it is. That's that RTV silicone black product. And this is just a different product, you see? They didn't use that. But it's professional, okay? These are like the right... So they either pulled these strips off or they got like a pack from Sony. This could have been done by a Sony tech, honestly. Or by like a Sony center. Kenny asks if I ever watch urban exploration videos, abandoned malls, and get upset at the monitors left behind, abandoned hotel, and they just demolished it with CRTs. Yeah, you're just gonna break your heart looking at that stuff. There's so many different things like that. I think about the worst, even worse than seeing it in videos. I think about the times I thought, man, I don't have enough space. This has been like 2017. Oh, I don't have space. Nobody wants those CRTs. I can't take those 20. And then they would just be left. And I never got them, right? So it's like, those were PVMs. Those were back like 8-inch ones. I could have taken them. Nobody cared. They ended up throwing them out, I think. Or breaking them down and trying to recycle them. But yeah, there's a lot of things like that. It's really terrible. But it's fun to, it's still fun to watch that stuff. And there's some malls around here that I actually still have a mall that is still open. Maybe I'll take Zez to it when he gets into town. So there's just the other side of that yoke. You can tell there. That's all been redone. All redone up in here. There's the back. There's the neck board. There's that side. If we look in here, maybe we can see the... No, that's not a good picture. Got the cable blocking. So the first thing I do is remove that neck board. And then I have to expand, excuse me. And then I expand the board. So you have to remove both of the side boards there. So you've got the deflection card over here. And then you've got the input board and comms board over here. And that's how you get this main board out. So I didn't see anything that was pulling up red flags here, but I went ahead and did, or there actually was red flags, weren't there? I'm wrong. This was one of the things that I had not seen before. You can see this capacitor C632. This looks to be a, if I had to guess, that's a SMD surface mount capacitor of some type. That's over here pushed out to what I believe is a ground point, but I'm not really sure why that was added. It's not normally there. Let's see. There's another picture of it. Here's another thing. But this is all stuff that you would normally see on these boards that was done by Sony. Again, we have this same black RTV silicone. This is a diode between another capacitor leg, a negative end, and a diode, right? So a diode. These are just probably adjustments or things that had to be made to this later on. So just to keep that in mind. Hey, Steve. Stephen Norton. Actually, this is Stephen Norton's. Look, there's your 20L5, Stephen. That's his. Hey, NCAT. This is not yours in the video. This is a different one. So this is one of the ICs I replaced just in case it was problematic. It's the main hot on there. So I replaced it. It wasn't shorted, but I went ahead and replaced it. It's in the kit with Save on Pat's parts, especially since it was blowing, but this is just me replacing it. Okay. And then I removed all the caps in the cap kit. And I think that, like, the normal, when I first started with this cap kit, I think only 2 or 3 of these capacitors in this area were in the kit. And you can just see how it is a pain in the neck working on this particular one. But anyway, these are ones I've expanded and added a bunch of caps in here. I remove all these in this area. Not this big one. And this one's a pain in the neck to get to because it's on the opposite side of those. That's the ones you just looked at. The 634 is in the kit. And look at it. It is cornered in this heat sink right next to this hot resistor. And then this is a big resistor, solid. So you have to remove the resistor just to get the cap out. You have to get this cap out over here. Anyway, I've done this so many times that I know how to do this pretty safely. But they're wedged in there. Now look, you could... The thing is, a lot of these caps are still reading fine. They're not part of this kit. They don't affect this repair, it seems. I think that eventually we're going to have to deal with all these capacitors down the road. But these are Nishikon and Rubicon high-quality caps that are still going to be as good rated as a lot of times as replacements. But these are part of this failed kit. These do burn out. This is another one that's randomly on the board. Here's a set of 4 right in here I replaced. And then there's that newly installed IC right there. Whoops, sorry about that. Let's go back to that picture. Now look at some solder work. Let's go here. This is after I removed it. You can see the empty holes there. Same thing here, just empty holes. Empty holes. These are all the caps, right? These are all the ones that 16 caps, 1 IC, all changed out. And I don't, like I said, that's part of this kit. There they all are, the ones I've changed out. All the parts. Here's the installed ones. This is that same area where I told you all these caps were removed. Right in there. And that's right inside the... this is the area... sorry, cancel. This is the power supply spot where the power comes in right over... Not right there. I think the opposite side. It comes right in. No, it actually does. It comes in right here. Sorry about that, because there's the fuse. That's where the AC voltage comes in, and then it's, you know, filtered, sent down, turned into DC, turned into all different other currents that's used by the PVM. And that's why I go through and recap all that. So there's those caps. Here's these other capacitors. You can see them. Down in there, there's been replaced. There's that big. See how you have to remove that because you can't get your fat finger or that capacitor down in there without removing it. So that's a little trick. If you ever work on a PVM 2005, you've got to remove that resistor there to get to that capacitor. Just more pictures of the capacitors installed. La la la. Here's the bottom. Other things I would have done, I reflow solder all in this spot. The octagon, right? The mighty octagon here. All that gets reflowed. And that's your bottom side of your flyback transformer. And a couple of resistors. Big resistors over there. Here's the solder points. Let's breeze through these. I mean, this is just solder reflow, solder replacement. Solder kits. Hey, thank you, Coaster. This is something too that I think one of the best things I ever got advised was to just try to think of your work. How can you make yourself like almost? I know it sounds silly, like people. You go through. You have the ability to go through, and even though like I've done again, I mean just in the last month and in February, the first thing I did was another L5. I have done 4 L5s in the last 40 days. And if I expand that out the whole time I've done them, I mean, I'm trying to really perfect the art here of what I'm doing. And the best way to do that is through tracking your work, as simple as it can be, to taking pictures like this, seeing what you're doing. It also is a great way to prove your abilities to people, Anyway, this was the original. I'm about to get into the good stuff. I think we're about to have something that sparks here. This is the original neck board. And this was the problem board. This is that resistor I removed. Come on, baby. Let's see. There's the replacement. There's the old one. There's the replacement. Installed the replacement. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Way nestled up in here. And then I went and I reflowed all the solder, you can tell, on the board and cleaned it. Just checked the components. They looked fine. Everything looked fine. There's just a picture of the reflowed board. More of it. And there it is, installing it. All right. I surely hope this shows up here. I'm going to try to pause our music. And this should be fun. Let's pause that jazz for a second. And let's see what this does. All right, I've done the repair kit to this silly Sony PVM 2005, but it just keeps frying the neck board resistor. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Let's see if it does it this time. I'm going to power it on, and we're going to see what the neck board does back there. Watch this. Did you see it? Like, did you see that? All right, I'm going to play it back here so you can actually see it. And what I want you to do is, I won't go back too far. So pay attention to the neck board, right? The resistors, this first heat sink you see on the far right, and then there's a capacitor right here where my cursor is. Right in this area. Watch that. Let's go back a little further. Watch that area. Let's come back here because I'm going to have to press, when I press the button, okay? Let's see if it does it this time. I'm going to power it on, and we're going to see what the neck board does back there. So here's the thing. This one was quite crazy because as I would, I replaced that resistor 3 times. 3 times before my thick-headedness. I replaced it. I saw it pop, and I was like, I don't know. Maybe that resistor was bad. And so then I replaced the resistor again, and I made sure, double-checked all the connections, made sure everything was cleaned up. And it fried again. I literally went through like 4 of the resistors before I finally went and found a salvageable board from my Boneyard on a L5. That was, thank goodness, it was the fourth version, just like this one. So that's what I did. I swapped it out, and I was like, please don't fry anymore, because I literally ran out of the resistors. That was my last one. What's the one you just saw explode? So the only thing I had was left. I'd have to go try to get. But that's the scary thing. If you're working on a PVM, you turn it on and it does that, and that explains the pop sound. The pop sound. So let's. That's what I'm sorry. I told you this earlier. The customer told me that they heard a pop sound when they were playing it, and that's must have what it is. Something shorted, obviously, and something is still shorted on that board, and that's why it keeps popping like that, like boom. And so the funny thing was I had a couple different types of this resistor. It's like a 39 ohm resistor, and some of the resistors would obviously fail, but they wouldn't fully blow up. They were maybe a little bit higher quality. And then the low ones, I would try it with the low ones, and they would literally spark a big fire almost. And I was like, whoa, whoa. But the other ones would still light. You could still get energy to the tube and let it overload again, and I just would power it off. But it didn't matter with that board. And I actually, no, it's all the way back in the back of the shop. I can go get that board if we want to look at it, because I had to take my good board. And anyway, that was the board. Okay, now let's see what this video is. Found a spare neck board. I'm gonna swap that whole unit out. Okay, so this is the neck board, the salvaged neck board. So that right there is completely normal activity from an L5. See? Oh, crap. Oh, looks like we fixed it. Something's way busted on that neck board. Because the replacement neck board's actually working. Okay, so there you have it. Wow. Okay. So that was actually good. Since that, you could tell I had the pin out. You saw that? I'm sure you saw that right there. Like, if we go back to here and just back a little bit. Come on. There's the pin out for the tube. I was literally getting ready to hook the tube tester up. If I did not have the replacement neck board, I was going to have to test the tube and make sure there wasn't a short in it. Thankfully, I found that neck board, and I went ahead and swapped it. All right. So there's, look at that. That's a good picture. Look at what it would do. Look at what it would do every time. Look at that. I mean, that's what the spark does afterwards. R705 nearly catches, it shoots a big flame. Another picture of it. Oh, goodness gracious. There they are. Look at all of them. Look at all of them. All the ones I burnt up testing. This one was the worst. Look at it. I was like, all right, this one's gonna be good. It's got the heat shrink tubing. I'm gonna fix it. Bam! This one caught fire. So but this one was blown too. Right here. This one did not pop. It just blew. And that's it. Isn't that crazy? So there you go. All the same rated, but they were from different suppliers. Goodness, I think some of these replacements might have been from some shady supplier. Thankfully, I'm out of them and I got new ones. All right. So let's see. Believe this is the new board, right? Or this is the old board. Nope, this is the replacement board. Yeah, guys, if you're having fun with this, please drop me a like on the stream. I have probably a good size crowd here. I'm not really monitoring it, but anyway, the way the chat's going. So here's the replacement board. Reflowed all the solder on everything. The one thing I did note is this had come from a damaged PVM that was damaged in shipping and had been parted out. And you see down here, this neck board had a crack running through it up through here. You can see that hairline crack right in there where my cursor is, right over here. I had to just get that crack put back together. I fixed everything. Everything is perfectly, it has continuity. Traces are all connected. I just had to put some epoxy down here after I reflowed all the solder. And that way the board was nice and normal like that. You see that down there? So what happened on the original board, I took this board out, and what I figured out was these three ICs up here that are on the heatsink on the original board had all shorted. And that's the part, you see these rails right here? There's three sets of rails running parallel that have white tracks right there at a bunch of points. Those are those really complex ICs. And you can get replacements. I mean, I have to get them from Pat. But every single one of them was shorted. So that's what made me think, oh, that's probably the issue, because I tested this one, which all you do is you take your multimeter and you just put it, literally to test this, you just put your multimeter in ohms mode, or I'm sorry, yeah, ohms / noise making continuity check mode, where it just beeps if things are connected. And then you go around and you just check to make sure that nothing's shorted, like nothing's grounded together that's not supposed to be. So that's what I did. I would put something, I'd find the ground too, and I'd make sure everything did not ground out that was supposed to be grounded, and that was not supposed to be grounded. And there actually was some stuff shorted on those chips. So that's definitely a problem. Hey, Dell, welcome in. Good, buddy. I got to get you on the show now that I'm back here. Definitely going to do that when you got some time. Maybe this month, maybe March. I was thinking about doing a tube tester episode with a cool old RCA trash picked TV I've got that should be the same tube as the, I believe it's this one. I believe it's got this 23 connector that she sent me for my BKM CRT tester. It should be this. So it's going to be fun to test. And when I do that, maybe we'll just do that together. Anyway, there's the backside of those chips, and they're the ones up here attached to this board, or these three heat sinks. They're on the outside. I don't know if, let's see if I got a good picture of it for you. Did I get a good picture of the other side? There's a good one. See, there's those chips, those ICs right there. See how they have all those legs? And that's what Pat told me. He's like, if they blow, there's generally one leg on here, and he knows the one from his head. Like if you ask Save on Pat, call him. He'll be like, yeah, test to see if this pin's shorted. Yep, that's blown. But the problem, so that's what happened. And I think that it cost me less to offer this client this restored board than to order all those three ICs and replace them. That's a crazy thing, because they're not cheap. They're hard to find. Okay, I've fully restored the donor board now here on the neck board. I'm going to power it on after that. Hopefully it has no more issues, and we can consider it at least repaired at this point. Everything seems to be stable so far over there on the neck board. Here comes the image. Right up quickly. And that's all good. And hopefully that'll be... Somebody was like stomping on the ceiling while I was filming that. Or walking. Anyway. Yeah. So that's the repair. That fixed it. That was the problem. And that's a pretty common thing for a burnout 20 or L series, is that problem seems to come from those neck boards. Oh, here's some photographs of everything adjusted. I'm just amazed by how this L20 L5 can sometimes get such amazing performance for convergence for a 20 inch, and it's amazing. There's not, I guess, the deep corners. You usually get one corner at least that's always kind of bad on those PVMs, but not on this one. There you go again. Look how tight all that is. That is pure white because everything is falling in line. All the colors, red, green, and blue, are converged perfectly, and you're not having any bleeding over, and so you don't get a blurry corner. Oh yeah, Snuff for Stuffer. The big news is that Zez is coming to visit. I'm going to pick him up tomorrow from the airport. So we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to be doing some live streams. Yeah, in case you just showed up, my buddy Zez Retro, a.k.a. Lewis Zezaran, is the guy I had done podcasts with for 2 years, the Cathode Ray podcast. And I'm going to pick him up from the airport. He flew in from, well, originally from Estonia to visit the United States and to visit. So we're going to hang out for 5 days and then be shooting a lot of stuff as far as video. All right. This is just the file you get. Yep. That's right. So, but tomorrow's the actual day's coming. And so we're going to do some like live stream stuff. I wanted to get everybody's attention, kind of make sure that show was. This is also, I'm also doing like some of this new equipment. I've been testing out new audio equipment, new microphone. Make sure everything's been out. Zez is in town. Yeah, he's in. Not yet. I got to go pick him up at the airport tomorrow. There you go. So let's see. This client was really concerned about 480p just functioning, and so I did test 480p, and there it is. Just so you can see, if you're in 480p, the monitor switches over into progressive mode, and then it will say 480 60p right there. I am in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Harrisonburg, Virginia. Anybody here snoring? That's Cole. He is out here snoring like a grandpa. Like your grandpa watching a golf tournament on a Sunday afternoon after lunch. He is passed out in his lazy boy. All right, so that was the repair. Now this, let's see, that was the repair portion. I also, gosh, that was a long snore, Cole. Let me put some jazz back on for a second. Let's put that down. That was the repair file. This is then afterwards just, I will look at this real quickly, but he's fell asleep. That's cold. Cold-blooded. You like those basketball players? They were yelling at me doing this. Whatever that is. Whatever cut down that is with these new age children. These new age youngsters. Smacking their forearm or whatever they're doing. I don't know what that is. They said I yelled at them too much. Anyway. This is the deflection block. Much easier to get to. It's out here. So that gets removed. You got to separate the two boards. Separation. Because this has 6 caps I usually take out of it. 6 capacitors. Let's see. Yep, there they all go. And you have to take these ones out up here too with the diodes in it. Take those out. Leave the diodes. Then reinstall the diodes afterwards. See how I just kind of sucked it out around there and left those diodes in place? So there you go. 6 capacitors. I'm also going to have to figure out. I don't know what that is. I don't know what it is. These guys were very upset. One of their best player last weekend when we went, it was a game, it was a rivalry game. And he got kicked out of the game, double technical. We got a big blob of solder, so that's just the 6 caps again. There's replaced capacitors. Let's see. That all looks fine. Here's the... There you go. So you just reinstall those diodes. Looks so good. And same thing with the other board, pretty much gets all the caps replaced. And all replaced there. So let's go back here. Yeah. And there's just a couple more photos after it's done. Put back in. There we go. Looking good. It's something, you know. I'm not with it. I'm not with it. I'm so bad at modern stuff, anything. I'm not with that new age stuff. Except for like retro tank stuff. I'd be into that. That's about it. So that's it. That is one of the big repairs. Oh my gosh, Dell. The closest thing is there is one in a cornfield somewhere. No joke. Let's see. Shenandoah Airport. That's in the drive. That's it. This airport's funny. It's out in the middle of nowhere. This is it. It's like, that's literally, it's one. This is it. This is my one in airport with one terminal. It's got one silly terminal. And I think you have to connect through Charlotte in it or something. This is like where you fly these Cessnas, baby. Look at this. And then there's the airport. That's the closest one. And then the next closest one to this is Charlottesville. And it's around, there's a cornfield around it. If it's in the middle of nowhere in a cornfield. That's the closest one. And then Charlottesville Airport is the big airport that's near it. It's like 45 minutes away. This one's about 15. The one I have to go pick up Zez from tomorrow is 2 hours. It's a different airport. And then he flies back out of the one that's Charlottesville, so it's like 40 minutes away from here, from me. So that's it. That's it. So what do you think? So Zez actually flew in to do like work training for his company. And he's in Texas right now, I believe, doing that. And then he's coming here before he leaves. Is my house in Fallout 76? I don't know, maybe. I don't play I don't play many games that are like I think I haven't gotten past Fallout 3. I think that was the last one I played. I played the heck out of it, but I'm sure this is in there somewhere. The wood grain, the concrete walls, the snoring dog. It's definitely a bunker full of CRTs and weaponry. Just kidding. So there's that one. The others, I'm trying to think of. You saw the 20M4U. That was the one that had the red light. That was, again, you didn't see it today, but that was when I made a full episode about 3 weeks ago about. And you saw the 2005 that had all the problems. The only thing else would have been a 1405. 3 of those. And those are all dead, the same exact thing done to him that you just saw. So none of that's different. That just leaves an M2 MDU, a 1353 MDU. All right, let's look back at those. Let's look back at one of those. I'm trying to think of which one was in worse shape of the two. Because that's the one we should look at, right? The worst one. What a wonderful day. Let's look at that one briefly. See, it's lovely having these files in here because then I can just pull it up and check it out. I could refer to it, and you could refer to it if you got your PVM service. Then you go, what did Steve do? Oh, he actually showed me everything. Wish more businesses would do things this way. All right, so this PVM in the diagnostic stage has purity issues and the RGB line fault. That's all the parts that were replaced. There's quite a few more here. 3 boards again. Capacitors. There's some adjustments. Let's read the special notes from myself. Let's go through another paragraph. Let's do it. After I had the monitor broken down, I went through each board, thoroughly checking the components. I replaced all the capacitors and components in the repair kit. I changed a few other capacitors I found to be bad. Every part that was replaced is listed above. I also reflowed solder on the neck board and the power supply as a preventative measure. I reflowed the solder on the coil inductors and transformers on the main board. I cleaned each board. You can see pictures of each board in the servicing process, located in the pictures files of the drive folder. I added 1 convergence strip to the CRT to improve the corner convergence. I fixed the purity problems by adjusting the yoke. I cleaned the outside of the PVM and installed a replacement Sony badge. Overall, this PVM is in great condition. It performs as intended. I was able to go through a set of tests without issues. I also made the adjustments listed above to get the screen to an excellent starting point for use. The PVM is ready to be picked up and enjoyed. Thank you very much. Now, if you're not snoring yet, like Cole, then maybe you could take a second to look through some repair pictures here. There we go. All right, this is a look at the 20M2 MDU, which, if you don't know, is actually the medical variant. So this would have been located in your hospitals. It may have been located in some type of a clinic for like a colonoscopy or some other type of procedure. Maybe, just maybe, your parents got a good look at a baby on one of these through an ultrasound. Maybe you had an ultrasound that you viewed on a PVM M series like the one you see before you. But that's where this came from. So there you go. Let's see. This is 1997. So that's right. If you were, for some reason, getting some kind of medical procedure done in the 90s, the doctors would have been viewing it on this type of monitor. Now this one is excellent because it has 2 RGB inputs. The others that are not medical... Okay, sorry, Snuffer. I'm getting used to this new mic. I'm probably messing it up because it has phantom power, so I won't touch it. Anyway, thanks for the warning. So this has 2 inputs here. See them? For RGB and component. Now this top one has outputs. The bottom one does not. But that's the only build out like that. The others that are not medical, just the regular M series, that are studio monitors, they do not have that second output or input. They don't have it at all. Here's what it looks like on the inside. These are a little bit easier to get around in. They only have one primary board down there. The base. There's the input board. Here's our neck board. And then this is the power supply over to the side. Yes, Jumbo Jones, you may have been viewed on this very PVM. Thank you. No, I appreciate it, Stuffer. I don't like. I have no way of really knowing if I don't get feedback like that. So there you go. November of '97. So that's once it looks like when you break out that main board. And actually, I pulled it all out together. The neck board right here. The main board. And then the input board. All in one. Now, things that are different on this from the inside. This medical board, or this medical variant, will have these coils right here. See how this ground has a coil around it? Silly coils. Ferrite coils. There are going to be more of those inside medical variants. So you get all that out, get everything cleared out, and there's the main board. There's all the caps from the cap kit that I removed. Let me show you. So I didn't seem to get a picture of the red, green, and blue line issue here. But what that's caused by is not these two capacitors, but these are deflection capacitors, vertical deflection, right in this area. Whoops. The ones that actually cause the red, green, and blue line issue are over and behind that. These back in here. And the vertical blanking circuit right there. These two. This one and this one. So if you have red, green, and blue lines, you need to replace at a minimum these two and actually these two. So you need to replace these 4 at a bare minimum so your monitor doesn't short circuit. Okay? Stammy Killer, do non-medical variants of this also come with shielding around the tube that's specific? It's pretty much the same shielding. And that shielding is meant to prevent purity problems and outside influence from magnetism. And so they wanted that on all of them. And it's literally just metal. So a good question, but it is different on some brands. You'll notice a branding, depending on the brand, they'll be different. But there's other caps in this kit. A lot of them, right? There's a different one down here. Some down here. Actually, that one was replaced too. Don't know why I got it. I must have forgot to take the picture before I removed it. About 6 or 7 in between there get done. There's the board. There's the holes. I'm just taking a picture of holes so that the client will have the ease and peace of mind to know that their board wasn't damaged in the process. This is, look at this. Guys, this is really why. This is why you have to be like slightly advanced, high level on this repair or recap. Because this is a dual-sided board. And look at just these capacitors locations. Okay? And that's pretty soundly, like right here you've got a surface mount resistor. Here here, here. And you got to come in and extract the legs of these capacitors right in beside all that. Look how cramped that is. Not to mention, you're dealing with solder. That solder can heat up, and actually, as it heats, it might splash. And I'm going to tell you something, man. I've had an L5. I've had this happen before with an L5, where, like, check out this. See this big capacitor right here? It's going to be easier to show you on that one, but it was more like this size capacitor. I had a solder splash from removing and changing a capacitor where it splashed over, and it somehow, no shit, bridged the whole capacitor. Now, thank goodness nothing shorted out, but I didn't see it. So what happened is, splash hits the capacitor. I reinstall the board, I fire it up, and it just doesn't turn on. Just didn't turn it on at all. So I'm checking everything, and I checked it through. Everything was put back together. I took the son of a gun apart and start taking a magnifying glass to the board. And I found the fresh solder splash. I took my multimeter again, checked it. Sure enough, it was shorted because of the solder splash. I got some solder wick braid out, cleaned the area up, removed it, fired it up. Worked perfectly. So that's another thing. And I've had that just happen one time ever, but it happened. So that's crazy, isn't it? So that's what you've really got to be mindful of. It's just so much congestion, I'd call it. And this is afterwards. Let's check out some after shots. This is that whole zone, right? Isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, there they are. There's the fresh soldered points. There's one. 586. 581. That one. There they all are. I changed them. There's the caps. New caps. Fresh caps. Fresh capacitors for your TV. More fresh capacitors. Now, also, if you ever have an issue, you can come back and look and see if you did anything wrong. If I came back here and looked and said, oh, look, I installed one of those capacitors backwards. That's why it's not working. You'd be able to see it. Here's the neck board. A little bit different on this neck board, but it is similar. You noticed how there was 3 ICs on the other neck board. Well, this just has 3 regulators that are pretty small, 3-legged, and they have heat sinks. A little bit simpler design, but also similar. And again, other than replacement of those 4... Hey, Grail. Other than replacement of those 4 capacitors, you're going to need to go in here and reflow all the solder on your components on this board. Pardon. See, there's those ICs I was telling you about. Smaller, much easier to source, more generic. That's those. I don't want to add a note today. There you go. Say goodbye to those old 27-year-old capacitors. Now, if you have any questions about how a neck board works, this is a good time. This is your CRT socket. This is where your power goes in to the neck board. That other side, that's how you adjust your main horizontal static convergence on the CRT. Here's the other side, another good look at those regulators. Mount up. And this is a shot where I've obviously reflowed the solder, and I'm just getting ready to install the new capacitors, I guess. Yep. Sideways photo. There you go, new caps. Cleaned up. Pretty new caps. One of those beautiful, lovely caps. Blurry. There you go. See that solder? Look how fresh and amazing that is. Like this neck board will, goodness, last 30, 40 years now. Without issue. There's the power supply. Let's look at this a little bit. Skip ahead. So the power supply is 1 unit. Got a nice shell on it. And this time, you know, look at these big caps, man. Yep, replacing them all. There's the cap kit behind there. This is an expensive one to recap. These caps are expensive. I say some of them are upwards of like $7 or $8 each. Those big ones. But full recap on this board. Full recap. Everything new. Those big caps are not cheap. This one right here, I guarantee it's $7 or $8. These are nudes. These are PVM nudes. Safe to look at this. This has to get full solder reflow. There's a lot of heat, a lot going on here. You got conversion from AC to DC to other types. You get power coming in. And all this is getting lovely. Just, I love it. I love giving that fresh solder and cleaning those boards. They look so nice. There you go. I just love making it look so good. Back in, pieced back together, clean it all out. Clean it all out. There's everything cleaned up. There's that lovely power supply. Neck board. Deflection yoke. Baby. Now this one, this is the problem with the M series, is they don't all have the great deflection yokes. There's no fine tuning the convergence with this yoke. I mean, you got the yoke rings that you can make adjustments to, but this whole contraption up here can't be adjusted. There's yoke rings. I had to reapply the adhesive there. Just everything looking clean. Reset. Re-put back together. Peace of mind photographs is what these are called. This is when I'm just getting ready to go and get some signal and power put into it. And there you go. There's no issues. The red, green, and blue lines. Let's take a quick closer look, though, at this convergence. Let's see if we can find a corner that's not as tight as... Look at that. So that's a good example, right? So you saw how clean that 2005 got that convergence. You're going to like find this more in the medical versions. See how this is separated a little bit? We've got a little bit of creeping here of the red gun, so that leaves us with the blue and green lined up and the red bleeding over in the corner. But you can only get these to a certain point. Let's see if it's any better. Usually, see, this is pretty clean there. This is after being adjusted. Clean in the middle. It's always clean in the middle. Clean. So yeah, it's about one corner generally. Is there ads on their buried bits? I don't know. Sometimes YouTube's really changed like ad placement stuff. I don't have any idea whether there's how often it puts them. I'm sorry. You can use it. Well, I don't know if you're even allowed to use an ad blocker anymore. There it is. Finished up. Now I did get to use some replacement badge. There's a replacement badge down here. Hey Mark, how you doing? Shadow Mask, welcome. There, I did use a replacement badge, which was just a really high quality thing. Yeah, see, so here's the deal. I mean, I don't really care about, let's talk about ads, Because I always know that if I don't put ads, there's a good chance that YouTube will not push my stuff at all. I don't make a bunch of money from ads usually. I mean, it is a decent. It's a drop in the whole bucket as far as like a business is concerned. All right, that's it for the 20M2. So that's it. So here's the deal. I think that's what I'm going to do. That sucks. All right, I'm going to try to do this. Because I've maybe there's some setting that has been changed. Sorry about moving that. Maybe there's some setting that got changed since I haven't streamed in a while. I'm going to try to put the next one on as few ads as possible. Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know. Like, I pay for that YouTube Premium as a part of a business expense. Thank you, Barry Bits. But yeah, I'll go in there and I'll manually put it as low as possible, especially for the stuff coming up. Because it's not that big of a deal on the live streams. Now, as far as the videos go, whatever happens on there, I can't really do. But the live streams, I think I still can limit that. Oh, goodness. Yes. So, let's get in. Let's get ready to have some fun. We're going to do it. If you want to come back, man, hang out. If you really want to know where everything's happening, follow me on Twitter or X, and you can see, and it's just, I don't know, USA Retro. You can find my account on the YouTube channel here if you just go and look at my other links on my YouTube channel. And go follow me there, and I'll keep everything more up to date on there. And then look for live streams to come this weekend. Okay? Do at least one, hopefully two. And then, like, I want to do like some cool sit-down podcasts with him where we can have some really good and deep conversations to split up into some episodes. And then we're going to go around town. I'm going to show him some really weird hillbilly. Thank you, Belmont. There's a link in the chat for the retro. We're going to do some hillbilly food trying. And I'm going to take him on some crazy things. Yeah, it's showing up. The Twitter link well, I don't know. It shows up for me because you should be able to do it since you're a blue wrench holder. Anyway, thanks, Belmont. Thanks, Dell. Thank you, everybody else who showed up in the chat today and showed up for the show. And I will see you all next time. Have a great evening, but I'll see you next time with Zez. That's right. Have a great